I am a veteran of the PC Star Trek Online. I just want to give you guys a heads up on the upcoming events and things happening currently on Star Trek Online. There's a lot of things going on. So, first thing we're going to talk about is if you're looking for game content, Star Trek Online is going to be a lot of the MMOs that are currently out right now. Number one, it's free to play. A lot of the content that is being put out by this game is free to play. What I mean by that is that there have missions over the years, okay, that have managed to blossom, okay, over the 7 to 8 year history of the game being put out on PC and then following console. Okay, I've been playing the console version for since the game came out about close to 2 years ago, and my impressions of it coming to console is something that I knew was bound to happen. With more online games being put out, I figure, hey, why shouldn't a game like Star Wars or Star Wars Online or World of Warcraft or some of these games start looking at potentials of coming to a system like console? The player base is there, the following is there, and so it allows this kind of thing to take place. It means that for the companies who are not involved in this console-based system, where you're talking about Star Trek Online, Star Wars Online, you're talking about WoW, you're talking about all these things, this is something that developers, online MMORPG developers, should start thinking about. Sony, Xbox, however you want to look at it, the console base is literally taking over in my opinion, is taking over the online gamer platform, because they give so many tools and so many ways for you to make it access to it. Okay, this is amazing. The fact that I'm even talking to you, streaming this show, this game, is amazing. Not too long ago, you had to do so many things to do this, and you still got to do a lot of things to do this on PC. This is just an app on PlayStation that you can utilize, whether it be YouTube or Twitch. However you want to do it, you're able to do it. So this is an info fanatic that you be able to get in this game. So first off, with this MMORPG in Star Trek Online, first off, it's a free-to-play game. The majority of the content that you get in this game is free to play. So if you are about saving as much money as possible and enjoying a game based on free content and what it provides, this game is for you. Okay? Now, I'm not saying that everybody out there is a Star Trek fan, or somebody who's so informative of what everything's going on with Star Trek. I'm not saying that whatsoever. You don't have to be a big Star Trek follower to play this game. By no means, whatever. The game dynamics, how the controls operate, how you're able to do get yourself into combat, which later on you'll see. The global events that this game puts out. The overall content is astonishing. The fact that you're getting a lot of these things is free is amazing. Okay, so we're gonna talk about missions. I'm gonna show you how many missions you get per story arc. Okay, and then I'm gonna show you the end game. I'm gonna show you the reputations. I'm gonna show you the duty officers, the admiralty. I'm gonna show you things that build to your end game, which will lead into how good your PvE builds or how good your instances builds are comparison to your PvP builds. And I'm not the greatest PvE player. I am not saying that by no means. I'm not saying I'm the greatest PvE builder, but I'm just saying there's so much content to this game that this game is strategically made for player-based gaming. How you like to play, this game is ready for you. Okay, and to this date, I have not seen the character customization, the ability that this game provides in a whole. I haven't seen too many MMOs with this game's dynamics. I have not seen something that says to me, "Hey, this is an amazing way to go." Playing Terra or playing WoW. WoW is an amazing game, but it doesn't have the character customization that this game. And this is, again, like I'm saying, this game is a free game. So we're gonna start with the missions. We're gonna start with the reputations. We're gonna do the admiralties. We're gonna do the research and development. We're gonna do in-game content, and then what we're gonna talk about is the microtransactions. We're gonna talk about what ships you can get, what content you can get from the C store. Okay, in order to improve your game toward your end game. These are things that you later on, because up to level 50 you get a whole lot of free things up to level 50, which is an amazing thing by itself. That means you have 15 remaining levels, which requires a lot of hard dedication work if you don't want to pay any money to this game. That means if you're a grinder and you don't mind grinding, you don't mind working and grinding, and you're very smart with in-game currency, you're very smart what's going on in the game, this will be easy for you. This would be like the greatest thing in gaming you'll ever experience. Okay, if you are a Star Trek fanatic, you are a Star Trek fan, this game is also for you, because it follows the story of the prime Star Trek universe 30 years after the Star Trek Nemesis. Okay, and so you're gonna get story arc history going from that position. Yes, some people are not necessarily the fans of the Kelvin timeline. Some people are not fan of the Star Trek Discovery, but it's in the game. So it tells you that the developers of this game are taking the time to listen to the fan base, even though some fans may disagree or agree. This game is made for the fans. Okay, we're gonna talk about fleets. We're gonna talk about what you can do in your fleets, what content you get out of your fleets. We're gonna talk about things that most people out there won't show you. So I want to show you simple things. The missions first. Okay, we're gonna basically go into the missions. All right, right now they have new content. Right now the mission content that's going on right now for the featured episode is called the Renegades of Regret. I'm sure if for those of you who have played up to this point, you have done the Renegades of Regret. That's something maybe later on the line you will see following the other episodes that you play. Okay, if you're playing in the Federation, okay, your first story arc that you're going to get to is the Klingon War. Okay, and let's look at the Klingon War. Let's look at how many episodes, okay, you're going to go through just to get to the first story arc. Okay, obviously the Klingon War. So if you're a Star Trek fan and you know what the Klingons are, you know what they are, this is a big story arc because the Klingons are a big part of Star Trek. Okay, so you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 18, 19, 20, 20. Okay, you got 20 missions in just one story arc. 20 missions. Some can take between 10 to 15 minutes to do. Okay, each mission. Okay, and that's a pretty good story arc. You're talking about if you really want to get into the game, something like this can be done relatively in a good time. Let's look at Wasteland. Wasteland is not that very long. It tells you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 missions in Wasteland. Obviously, it's not something. So if you know the story, if you're a Star Trek fan and you know about Nimbus, okay, Nimbus was what is a planet that was introduced in one of the original Star Trek films. Okay, where you get to meet Spock's brother. Okay, and that's where the movie starts from. Okay, and so this is something for you all to look at. This is something for you if you are not a fan of Star Trek and you really want to get a hold of what's going on in the Star Trek universe. Then watching Star Trek shows like the original series, watching the Next Generation, watching Voyager, watching Deep Space Nine, crucial things for you to get a point of reference of where they're getting this stuff from. This is where this game is amazing. I've been watching Star Trek for a long time. Just starting off with my dad and my mom, and then it started with me watching it and me really getting a feel for the game. It's something that really turned me into science, something that turned me into history, something that turned me into cultural differences that I personally may have to somebody else. So it's an understanding, and it inspires the future. In a sense, if you have a cell phone, if you have a tablet, if you have so many things, but a lot of it is inspired, in my eyes, from television shows like Star Trek. So understand another big race in the Star Trek universe, the Romulans. Okay, when this came out, it was an astonishing scenario in the game. Okay, it comes 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 missions. Cardassian struggle, another big race. So if you really want to get in depth to the Cardassians, okay, you need to watch DS9. Okay, because DS9 plays into that factor quite a bit. So just alone in that one, you got 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 missions. And the brain, you have 5. Borg, you got 5. New Romulus, which follows in the traditions of just the Next Generation of what happens to. So if you watch the Kelvin timeline movies where you saw Romulus gets destroyed, this is following that story arc in a sense, because this is a big part of Romulus broke in half in their culture and in their government. Some Romulans felt like they needed to go a different way, and some of the old Romulan ways wanted to go a different way. They wanted to keep the Romulan Empire. They wanted to do this. Some of them wanted to become democratic. Some of them wanted to become republic. So this is where this story arc separates. Okay. Again, this Star Trek has a way of connecting the dots to what's going on currently in the world. Okay. To this, you're gonna get into the Iconian War arc. Okay, which is important. You're gonna hit the Solanae. Solanae by itself is, you got 3, 6, 7, 8, 9 missions. Okay, you got Yesterday's War, which is based in the past. Okay, going back all the way to TOS. You're gonna see some things that go from the past, going to the Next Generation, and then going into the future. In a sense, they gave you 4 episodes for you to get a taste of what that is. Okay, Delta Quadrant. Now, before the last patch they did, this was 100%. But what they did was they added a whole different avenue to the Kabali aspect. Okay, so again, this is a good spot for you to be if you haven't got the Star Trek Voyager, which is a television show. If you haven't watched Star Trek Voyager, this is a good opportunity. You can get on Netflix, you can get on Hulu, you can get on your nationally broadcasted TV, and maybe even catch a couple episodes in order for you to see who the Kabali were, who the Borg were, who the Krenim are. You know, you get to see a little bit of history, and when it comes to the Delta Quadrant. So again, requires a lot of research and a little bit of time for you to get into this, because the stories are amazing, they're very captivating, and they're very relevant to what's going on in the world today. Okay. The Iconian, probably the most powerful species, in my eyes anyway, in the Star Trek lore. They're one of the oldest. They've been around for a long time, and devoted strictly, when they made this race, they devoted it straight to science, the human condition, what's going on in the world. I mean, this is about as truth as it gets about inward character and how you develop a story. Iconian War is one of my favorite series in this particular game to play, but you get 9 missions, okay, or 8 missions. So you got 8 missions. So you get good quality gameplay in this game, okay. And I just went through, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11 story arcs in which you're going to follow. Now, each of these story arcs in each of these mission categories or seasons are based off an Iconian War and the To Boldly Go. Okay, so this is a content. Each one is a story arc, and and each episode follows hand in hand to the next and to the next and to the next until you get to the following season. Okay, the new season, Futureproof. So if you're looking for a very forward-based game, very based in the future, very based on what's going on, time travel, this kind of thing, this is for you. They give you 6 episodes of solid content where some of the best gear in the game you're going to get. Okay, this is the things that you should follow and actually do. My opinion, the minute you get into this game, you should play as much of the game, in-game missions, as much as the in-game content as possible. I wouldn't worry about end game. I wouldn't worry about reputation. I wouldn't worry about any of that. Do the story, play the roles, understand what items you get from each mission, and then you talk about your end game. Okay, at least this is the way I learned how to play the game, and I think it's very important, in my eyes, that if you're going to be a new player into Star Trek Online, whether it be on PC or whether it be based on console, whether Xbox or PlayStation. This is the understanding that if you're going to get into this game, you should really do the missions. Understand that there's items in those missions that you should definitely get your hands on in order to improve your game and ultimately lead you to the end game. Okay, so now we're going to the New Frontiers, which is still a part of a New Frontier, is still a part of this story arc. They give you 3, 6, 7, 8. They give you 8 more episodes. Okay, and obviously the new episode, this is the latest story arc, which is New Frontiers. Okay, this featured episode, The Renegade's Regret, will most likely be part of the New Frontiers. Okay, and once you get to here at this point, you have hit the latest patch, or the latest update, or the latest series or season of episodes that they have released over the last several course of the months, while this game has been on PS4 or Xbox. Okay, so do understand there's a lot of in-game content, there's a lot of things that requires you to know. Okay, so now that we got to that point, okay, I'm going to talk to you about, like, once you're in game, and you finish and you get to level 60 or 65, which is the new max level after Victorious Life comes out, which is probably going to be out within the next month or so. Once you get to level 60 or 65, you're going to hit a whole new dynamics to the game, and this is where your end game comes into play. Okay, before I get to your reputations and everything else, I'm going to talk to you about duty officers. I'm going to talk to you about admiralty. I'm going to talk about research and development. Okay, these are things that are going to be very crucial for you to follow. Duty officers, they give you in-game content. Okay, they give you okay, these are missions. This is your commendations. I'm going to show you the commendations. The goal is to get all of this to level 4, to rank 4. Okay, and doing this will give you accolades. It will give you duty officers. It will give you bridge officers, an ability to get very rare bridge. Okay, active. These are your duty officers. The more active you get, so you get some projectile weapons officers, you get some technicians. This is the end game. This is one of the things I was talking to you about end game. This is where you are talking about developing your ship builds. This is where it talks about developing these things. Your research and development. Let's talk about admiralty. Admiralty. This is where a good place for you to utilize the ships that you buy in game. Like this is the ship roster, and they give you each ship has a score based on what it's known for to do. Okay, and then you send them on assignments. Okay, you send these ships on assignments, and these are the assignments that you gotta go to. So some of these assignments are very crucial for you to utilize. So engineering is obviously that nice little squiggly yellow. Tactical is that little star, like almost like star-esque. And then science is that circle, okay, with the blue. So these are very kind of things that you want to look at for you to be able to utilize how you're gonna base the stuff going on in the game. Okay, so if you're playing an engineer, understand you're playing the engineering role. Things are gonna probably come a little easier to you based on you being engineered. There's some missions that require you to be engineer, some missions that will require you to be science, and some missions that are going to require you to be tactical. So do understand, like this is where it gets very important, and I'll continue with this stuff. Okay, research and development is very important because this is where you build your just like you're leveling up. Okay, you need to level up all of these schools. Okay, beam cannon schools, engineering school, ground weapon schools, kits and modules. Okay, so ground weapons. Obviously, that means your pistols, your rifles, your ground weapons. Okay, kits and modules are like your armor, your kit frames that allow you to be more durable to certain things. It gives you abilities that obviously your ground weapons in certain other items won't be able to give you. Okay, so let's talk about projectiles. Obviously is your torpedoes for your ship builds, mine launchers, and my suggestion is when you get into this, do research project technology. So when you do these, you just tap them in. You say, okay, I'm gonna do some project technology, and this is your duty. This is your duty officers that are research lab scientists. Basically, boom. Okay. Now, if you have some of these catalysts, you can utilize them based on what they give you, and you can do some serious research and development. If you develop these pretty quickly, you should be able to get pretty good and level up your schooling. Okay, so that's that. Okay, End game. Now, reputation. Reputation is where you're gonna find some of the best gear in the game. Kind of very hard to explain about what kind of content you're gonna get to this point. My suggestion is that you finish these 4 things. These 4 things are going to improve upon this better, because this is going to get to the point that if by the time you get here, if you've done your homework, if you've played the game and you've done all of your missions, okay, this is where you want to be. Okay, this is where you want to be. And once you get here, okay, you get reputation marks. Okay, once these reputation marks that you see, okay, the goal is to get each reputation mark to level 5. So I'm gonna show you just a quick little thing that you can get yourself to. Okay, here's a competitive war games of efforts daily. It's not going to give me a particular weapon, so just go to see what it gives me. I'm gonna get 2,500 competitive war games reputation. This is experience in my reputation. This is something that you're going to want to do. Your dailies are going to be crucial for you to do these dailies. These dailies are almost 16 to 17 hours based. They're the ones you want to utilize and get to first. Get your reputation done as soon as possible. Okay, and then they give you these equipment requisitions, and they start from all the way from tier 1 all the way to tier 5. Okay, and so this is where you're going to get certain items that can be helpful in game, whether it be PvE, PvP, certain things. This is the locations for you to do so. Okay, this is what it requires. It requires 15,000 energy credits, 2,000 expertise. So as you level up and you complete your missions, you're getting expertise, you're getting some knowledge, you're getting knowledge that can build up in points, and this is what your reputation is building up to. Okay, and then of course when you do a PvE, whether it be competitive, whether it be Omega, whether it be Nakara, whether it be Romulus, Dyson, Species A472, or Delta Alliance, these are your marks. Okay, and each one will tell you what you need, and it goes all the way far and right down. And these are some of the items that you can get, okay, in game. Okay, and so just to keep going, I'm gonna just show you things that you can do to lead you or build you up to wherever it is that you need to get to. Okay, they have a store. Each reputation has a store. So everything from high density beams to split beams to every single one of these reputations have a store. So when I talk about in-game content and what each game content can do, you're gonna get it. This is like I said, an amazing and an astonishing way for you to be able to do certain things and really appreciate. Now this is the bridge currently on my ship that I'm currently flying. Okay, so we're gonna go 2-step down. Navigation, that's something that happens and you're gonna end up developing and and seeing. Okay, having friends in this game is big. It's like a big thing to be a part of a good group of people that you can play with and get a lot of information. Some people have been playing this game a little bit longer, between PC and now playing on console. Some of these guys have literally taken the time to help people. Okay, and people that I have watched over the years between YouTube and stuff like that, like Brent Justice, Mr. Vatican, Timberwolf, etc., etc. These guys are in-game content-based guys that have been a part of Star Trek Online for a very long time, and so they have managed to give some of the basics in information. So if you're really trying to get a lot of info when it comes to in-game content, go on YouTube. So much information, so much history being documented about this game on Star Trek Online. So hit it up, study it, read it, see what kind of builds are out there. There's also STO Academy. You can go on to Google search, look up STO Academy. They have so much stuff that you'll be able to utilize on there by itself about in-game content, ship builds, skill tree, stuff like that. Phenomenal. Okay, if you're talking about a solid, dedicated, like this is the kind of build you want, then you got DPS League. And DPS League is another tool with a lot of great players, and some of these players get on there and they share their builds and they share their knowledge and they pass it along, and they allow a community to come together. And now this community is so wide berth that everybody in some form or fashion have some kind of ties to it, because they've either taken the ideas from here, from there, from there, from here, and they completely made their own build and they share it. Okay, fleet holdings. This is where it's very important. This is one of the biggest pieces to your end game. Okay, becoming a part of a fleet. What do I say about that? If you're going to be a part, if you're going to be playing this game, and you really like, tactitional DPS, science-based tanking, being a part of a role and being a part of a fleet, those kind of things, this is going to be crucial. This is going to be where you want to be. This is where you're going to get a lot of your information right off the bat. Let's talk about that. So right now my fleet level is a level 73. I'm one of the vice admirals in the fleet. I'm not necessarily the leader of this fleet, but it is something that you got to understand. Every time you get into a fleet, there is going to have to be a level of contribution to your part. Now every single fleet starts at level 0. Okay, at level 0. And everybody has a responsibility in that fleet to tier. So let's look at how many tiers there is, and you got to tier all these times. So every tier is usually 5 tiers. Besides the lithium mine, embassy, K-13, research lab, and the spire. The 2 biggest tiers you're going to be doing is your starbase, which is in conjunction with this, and this. You're going to want to knock out as much of this as possible for you to get what is called provisions. The higher your provisions are, the more content, the higher your tier is, okay, the higher and the better the gear. So let's look at that. Okay, if you look at all these, it tells you what the unlocks are. So if you look on the unlocks, it opens up more and more and more as you go along. Okay, kind of like over here, we're gonna look at the starbase. Oh, look at all that content that has been released. Okay, for tier by tier by tier. Very amazing things. Okay, you will not see that anywhere else. And this, okay, here's another. In any other game, I don't think I've ever seen as much content as STO. I'm literally staggered about what this game produces and what it pushes out versus anybody else. Like, it's astonishing. And I think a lot of MMOs can truly learn from this game, because it has literally went beyond what MMOs were supposed to be about. Okay, now we hit this part. Okay, this is the part where it's based on you. This is the part where it's based on whether you want to be a player who likes in-game content and that's all you care about. That's okay. You can do that. Okay, or there's game content that you can, there's certain things you can buy from the C store or the actual in-game, which is considered a form of level of microtransaction. So I'm going to show you. Okay, featured. Let's see. We're going to look at everything that they give you, and we're going to read it. So, to defend the galaxy against the Iconian threat with the Delta Quadrant support, the Delta Alliance duty officer pack includes many officers with new active duty powers. Energy weapons officers chance to gain a critical severity buff on fire energy weapons, and another one, and so forth. And this is all the officers that it gives you. Okay, this is crazy, right? It's crazy, right? So these are all things that in game you're able to look at. Okay, so we're gonna look at this. We're gonna keep this is the Delta Pack Master Keys, a key that will unlock any lockbox. Collect lockboxes in game by defeating enemies with completing missions or purchasing them with refined dilithium, and then use a master key to get the treasures inside. Okay, this is where the game can get kind of dicey, and this is probably where some people have praised the game or complained about the game. Some people don't think that they need to buy these keys, okay, in order for them to open up lockboxes. Now, this is where Star Trek is very unique, because it's a free to play game. The energy credits or the in-game currency that you gain by selling and purchasing items in game, you can make enough to buy these keys in game without ever actually spending actual money in the game, which is amazing. This is an amazing thing to do. But remember, the game has to fit you. But if you don't really care, if you really like the game, if you really feel like this game is something that you can invest a little bit of your money into, by all means, nothing wrong with that. That means you love the game. That means you appreciate the game and what it brings, and you're willing to put a little bit of money in order for you to potentially get the things that you're looking for. Okay, this is where that avenue lies. Research development pack. Sometimes you're gonna get the promos. Promos comes with the ability to potentially get a ship out of it, and sometimes, and the majority of the time, is to get very rare to common or uncommon items for you to do your research and development. Now understand, research and development items you can pick up in game as well. You're gonna get a lot of ship. I'll talk about ships here in a minute, which these two are combined, and then of course your XP boost increase. This is something that has been released into the game recently, and if you're wanting to level up really fast, this is a way for you to do it. Okay, this is one aspect of this that I don't necessarily agree, because I believe I'm more of a grinder. I like to grind the game. Occasionally I might spend, $20 to $50 in the game, and the last thing you'll ever see me do is spend money on XP boost. It's something that I don't feel should be in the game. I think your experience should be based on how much you want to give to the game and how much you want to play the game. So I don't necessarily think that this is something that needs to be pushed in the game. But at the same time, for those who really feel like, hey, I wish I had just a little bit of help, this is a way for you to do it. And that's my opinion. I don't know. Let's now we're gonna talk about discount packs. Discount packs could be many things. Okay. Discount packs are where you're gonna see. So obviously this little T6 cross-faction flight deck cruiser, what that means by being cross-faction is that there's 3 factions currently in the game, and it's 1 ship per faction. So you got Romulans, Klingons, and Federation. Okay. Temporal Agent. Most of these ships in here are, this particular bundle is 1300 Zen, 13,000 Zen, and you're gonna get about 9 ships. 9 ships, all Federation, all temporal base, pretty good ships. Again, you don't have to do this. You don't have to buy these ships. The only place you're gonna get them is in the C-store. But if you, and then I'll go on with more info about this here in a minute. But this is something that you can definitely look into with more content that I'm going to talk to you about here in a minute. And we're going to talk about the ships. It's an in-ships game. Ships that obviously you can see that I've bought quite a few of the ships in the game. And a big part of that is because I thoroughly enjoy the game, and I thoroughly have decided that because I thoroughly enjoy the game content and I thoroughly enjoy what this game brings, that if I'm going to share the information with people, I have to be somebody that thoroughly will invest in the game a little bit more efficiently. And that's not saying that I throw hundreds and hundreds of dollars into this game. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is it's less than half of me. It's more me grinding than it is me putting money into the game. So I'll get to that in a minute. Okay, and then your duty officers, if you want duty officers, is where your bridge officers, your duty officers, your things come into play. This is again for end game fleet based scenarios for you to get to this. This is very boring, and it's a whole different topic. Maybe later on I will get into that whole discussion. It's honest talk. Okay, items. Obviously, this is where you're gonna get your items from. Master keys, development packs, items between what you call plain Space Barbie to ship upgrades. So again, ship upgrades are going to be for certain ships that are upgradable to a T5U. So again, the more you play, the more info. Again, this is probably for another episode in the series that I will be releasing in the course of the time. And again, I'm not a big, huge YouTube sensation. I don't ever try to be. I'm just somebody out trying to give you as much information as possible. Okay. Services, obviously character slots, account shared bank slots. These are things, the more you play the game, you're going to start noticing that you're running out of space. And having a little bit more slots and having the ability to get your hands on some of these things are very important. Let's say you start the game and you don't like your skill tree. You don't like what your layout is. A Captain Retrain token is probably about the closest thing you're going to be able to use to completely reset your skill tree without resetting all your power, your levels, and basically fixing your skill tree. Now, the cool thing about this is that they give you a retrain ability pretty much every 5 levels that you level. So again, this is crucial. Okay, so do study this. Again, so much information out there, probably a whole lot better than what I'm putting out, but I'm just trying to give it from a perspective that I can potentially give it. So character slots, ship loadouts, very crucial in my book to have a few ship loadouts for you to be able to do different builds with your ships and stuff like that. Your ship slots, if you wanted to buy more ships or get more ships in the game, crucial to also have to potentially get your hands on. Ships are going to be something that's going to help you in the Admiralty selection of this particular game. So again, info that you can use. XP boost, this is where the XP boost is. Again, a lot of these things in here. Okay, a lot of these things in here. I remember when the game was doing XP weekends. They were doing, you know, dilithium weekends. They were doing mark weekends and stuff like that. Now they're doing this. Don't know why. I kind of like the day, like the, I kind of like the idea of them still doing those things. This is where you buy your outfits. Federation, Klingon, and Romulan. This is where you're gonna get your outfits. If you don't want to have the in-game outfit and you like some of these outfits here, by all means, like I did. I got some of the outfits there. Personnel. We're gonna talk about it. You want a bridge officer? You got your choices there. You want to add more bridge officer slots to your ships or to your crew? That's it. If you want to play as a Cation, you can get a Cation, which is a kitty. They also have the Pharaoh, which is the Klingon variant. Okay. So, bridge officers, combat companions, species you can play. So, these are your species that you can play. Just to give you an idea. So, obviously, Federation, Klingon, and Romulan. Okay. Promotions. Now, this is the stuff that Cryptic or Perfect World is going to give you for free. When you get to promotions, they're going to give you some items that are basically for free. Now, I already claimed this, so that's the reason why I can't claim it anymore. So, you've seen what this is capable of. So now I want to show you a particular build that is a combination of everything. My end game is going to talk to you about some of the things that are going to get you to a next level in gaming. So here we go. This is the Advanced Escort, or it's called the Hestia ship. I'm doing a disruptive build. And you notice that this has elite fleet. This is something that I got from the fleet that I'm currently in. Okay, this I got from a particular ship that I'll share with you in a minute. I believe this cannon, hyper cannon, I got from the Andorians pilot escort. This is I got from a fleet store. This I got from the Reputation, and this I got from the Reputation. These I got from Reputation. Okay, this is from the Lobby store. This is from the Lobby store. This I got from Reputation. This I got from in-game mission. So again, things that you want to look for. This is also from Reputation, and this is from a particular ship that comes out of a promotional or an Infinity lockbox. Again, requires a lot of grinding in order for you to get your hands on this stuff. I'm a grinder. I don't mind. So the next thing I'm going to show you in the store, okay, is the dilithium exchange. Dilithium is very important in the game. This is kind of like your exchange, your stock exchange. Okay. So the price right now, the lowest in the game right now, is 191 dilithium per Zen. So if I want to, let's say, buy 100 Zen at 191 dilithium per Zen, I have to have 19,100 dilithium. Now, this is where dilithium is also very important, because in order for you to make the majority of the time anyway, in order for you to make this be at Mark 14, you're going to need dilithium. And for you to upgrade your items in the game, you're gonna need dilithium. So you have your dilithium store. Dilithium store is where you pick up all these items. Okay. Occasionally you'll have those. This is where your infinity lock boxes, when your other lock boxes that in game come out, you're going to be able to get them right here if you want to spend a little bit of dilithium on your lock boxes. I don't see why you would, because a lot of the lock boxes you should be able to pick out in missions for the most part. So I'm part of the Death Dealers fleet on PS4. I've been playing Star Trek Online on PS4 since the game came out. I've been playing Star Trek Online for about 7 years on PC. I'm probably more active now on console, because I think, to me, the console has developed to being a little bit more broader and probably a little bit more efficient on being able to broadcast and connect to people a little bit more efficiently. But a lot of the information that comes out of the PC and from PC gamers is very relevant to what's going on console. So now we're going to leave the ship interior. Okay, and then we're going to talk about a whole different aspect. We're going to talk about PvEs. STO has events, okay? And when you do the events, it's something that you should definitely try to get accomplished, because it's very good. For the most part, it's very, very good content or very good gear that you're going to be able to get in the game. So let's go look at some PvEs. Okay, right now the current featured is the Mirror Universe. Okay, we're gonna do the Mirror Universe. We're gonna definitely get into that. Right now there's 3 people getting into the Mirror Universe, and we're gonna look at some in-game combat. Sorry, I wish that this game would give you the whole 360-degree view like it does on PC, but it's kinda hard to do. Very same for the most part is how you go see a lot of the things going on right now. We're gonna go and definitely right now, obviously the Delta recruitment is going on, and then that's where you'll see these guys with the triangles on their name. You're gonna see the triangle there. Everybody's doing the Delta recruitment. Okay. Yep, Delta recruitment. And let's see. Nope. No Delta recruitment there. But for those who are seeing with Delta recruitment, Mirror Universe is ready. Alright, we're gonna get ready to see some mirror invasion. Ooh, we're beaming out. Alright, some of these guys are gonna be a part of the... We're gonna skip all that noise. Okay, has a very similar ship to mine. I think he has the T5 variant. Let's see. I'm gonna inspect him out. He has the... Yep. He has a T5 variant, which is the T5. Obviously, he's somebody who is not really big on spending a whole lot of money. And that's understandable. A lot of people that play this game don't really spend money until they complete everything. And that's my advice to you. That's would be my advice to you, is get to level 60 or 65. Get your reputations done, get your duty officers done, get a lot of your free, get all of the content that you can done before you invest money into the game. It's kind of one of those things, is that one thing I like about this game is that they give you so much content for you to utilize, that they literally help you. They literally help you. So we're gonna turn this power substation on. Okay. They're not closing any of this. Alright. Alright, we're gonna close these rifts. There's one. Alright, guys, one of the things I gotta talk about, sorry for being so quiet, but focusing in the game, you gotta run into people that simply just don't know what they're doing, no matter how long they've played this game, and it can get kind of frustrating. None of these guys are sitting here closing rifts or, you know, doing any form of star-based defense. They're just flying around trying to kill things, which is, you know, understandable. It's fun. It's what they want to do, but talking about as a team-based scenario, you can find that a lot of people that you play with may get kind of frustrated with that event. So we just lost out on the ability to get some extra marks because of that. Now, the game point of this mirror universe invasion is to close as many rifts as possible before that dreadnought, the ISS Cisco, decides to. So closing rifts are going to be crucial for this. So I'm not going to go after the dreadnought right away. I want to go ahead and close these rifts and get the dreadnought trapped.
Rifts are closed. We have the dreadnought trapped.
Dreadnought is trapped. At least they did that one right. Oh. Fun game. Fun game. So you know, if you ever hear me say the reference certain individuals in games to STDs, is because, well, they play like them. So it's a reference to players who don't know what the heck they're doing. So this is where your reputation is, and this is where you're gonna go to complete your events. Collect mirror universes. I got multi-dimensional transporter devices. I'm gonna turn in. I got 3 more I gotta do before I get the rewards. Kind of thing. Well, guys, my name is Isaac54558. Please feel free to send me a PSN invite at Isaac54558. You want to invite to the fleet. You want to, as long as you're an active player, as long as you do certain things, you should be able to get right up on here. Hey, what's up, Brandon? How you doing? I will be on later on tomorrow with more in-game content. I'll talk to you guys later.